BeHealthServices.com today and take that first step towards a brighter future. Discover the power of healing with integrated behavioral health services. You're not alone. Let them walk this journey with you.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake. Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs. For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
Problem gambling affects millions of Americans daily, of all ages and walks of life. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Happy Hour. Gina Mancuso Prasowski of the Omaha Supernovas. You've played professionally for a few years. How emotional was that first match?
When I graduated the University of Nebraska, I thought that was it. I'll never play in front of my hometown. And going overseas where no one knows you, so you feel that isolation. To play in front of my family and friends, it's a dream come true. That first time I got on the court at the beginning of our season and the crowd erupted, I mean, it took everything in me not to expose my emotion.
Weekdays from 1 to 2.
Hello, everybody. It's Charlie Stone, and here with me is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I hear that new Honda manufacturing continues to go up, and you have new Hondas in stock now.
That's correct, Charlie. We have more than 40 new Hondas in stock right now. It's great that a customer can come in and buy a new Honda and drive it home that day. New Honda inventory keeps getting better each month.
Okay, then. How about used cars, Andy?
We have more than 100 pre-owned vehicles to choose from right now, and a lot of fresh trade-ins are coming in daily. We have just about every maker model you can imagine in any price range.
Thanks again, Andy. People love the selection and great service at Honda of Lincoln. Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome into the Daily Nebraskan show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Ben Droz, one of the sports writers at the Daily Nebraskan, and I'm joined here by both assistant sports editors at the DN, Anthony and Marissa. Guys, how you doing tonight?
Doing well. I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, doing well. How are you, Ben?
I'm doing great. We had an extended break, spring break, didn't do any shows. Not that much happened, though. Not too much news over the last week, so we didn't miss much. Just kidding. We were actually kind of kicking ourselves that we didn't have any episodes this week because a lot happened. But we're back, and we got a lot to recap this week. First off, we first want to touch on men's basketball because I feel like that's kind of the outside of Trev Alberts, which we'll get on that. But men's basketball making the tournament. They're an 8 seed. I feel like that's kind of the biggest storyline for Nebraska right now. Do you guys have any opening remarks about the men's basketball team and their seeding?
I think the 8 seed is fair. A lot of Husker fans were really hoping to get the 7 seed, potentially playing in Omaha. I think if they would have won against Illinois on Saturday in the Big Ten tournament, make the Big Ten championship, probably get that bump. Maybe not in Omaha, but probably a bump up to the 7 seed line. But still, I think it's a very deserved seed. The fact that they're going to be wearing those white jerseys in the NCAA tournament, just very, very proud. Fred Hoiberg is very proud of his team. Just this whole year that they've had, accomplished a lot of firsts. Again, making the Big Ten semifinals for the first time in their history. So just it's been a historic season so far, and they're hoping to just get that one win.
Yeah, I mean, exactly what Anthony said. I was telling him earlier, like 10 years since we've been to the tournament. I think that's just like such a big deal. And just thinking, where I was 10 years ago and where everyone else was. So, yeah, it's really cool to see like their season celebrated. And I agree that their seed was fair. And obviously, they have a pretty intriguing opponent.
Yeah. Some people are disappointed in the seeding just because, as an 8 seed, if you win first round, then you got to play 1 seed. And the 1 seed, Nebraska would play, probably would play because Houston's not going to get bounced first round. Who they'd play if they'd beat Texas A&M would be Houston. I feel like Houston's a team, though, that Nebraska could challenge. Houston hasn't, they've played some tougher opponents, but they haven't played that many tough opponents. They haven't been tested as much as other top teams, in my opinion. I feel like Nebraska, if they get Hoff in the 3-point line, they could make Houston sweat. They could make that a really good game. What do you think, kind of looking ahead before we get into Texas A&M?
Yeah, if Nebraska were to beat Texas A&M, I can definitely see them giving Houston a run for their money. I mean, Houston in the Big 12 championship game, their last game before this, only put up 41 points. Lost to Iowa State 69-41. So just probably one of the worst performances offensively of the season, especially in the second half. Only 18 points, only 23 in the first half. So just a very uninspired performance, especially for a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. That was kind of the case for a lot of teams in the conference tournament week. But yeah, I definitely think that compared to, say, UConn or even North Carolina, I know a lot of people aren't too high on the Tar Heels right now, but I think that out of all the 1 seeds that Nebraska could have got, Houston's probably the best one.
I don't know. I think Nebraska would have rather played Purdue.
They can't because same conference, but
yeah, I know. But I'm saying like if they could have chose from any of the 1 seeds, I feel like Purdue would have been one. But I agree. I think North Carolina just is a better offensive team than Nebraska probably. Houston, very good defensive team, but their offense is just not that great. I feel like Nebraska could easily get to like 70, 75 against Houston, and that might be enough. Like Houston's offense is not that good. I think Nebraska, the only problem would be is that Houston is really good on the boards. So I know we're getting ahead of ourselves because Nebraska's got to win first round, but I honestly think it's intriguing because the stat I saw is in each of the past 3 tournaments, an 8 seed has beat a number 1 seed. So it's the first time ever. It's been 3 straight years an 8 seed has beat a number 1 seed, at least one. So I think it's intriguing because I feel like in the past, it's going to be like, oh, day 9, they're always going to lose to the 1 seed. That really hasn't been the case. There's been a lot of 1 seeds that have been losing early on in the tournament. And Nebraska, they're going to be a fun team to watch in the tournament. I'm super pumped for the tournament, not just to watch Nebraska, the entire thing. It's going to be so fun. But let's first get into Nebraska's first round matchup against Texas A&M. I first want to talk about the Trev Alberts thing, though, because this is the interesting thing. Because they didn't do it just once. They did it twice. They gave Nebraska Texas A&M for men's and women's. Anthony, I want to get your thoughts on, is there a conspiracy theory? Like, did the committee do this on purpose? Is there some kind of like black magic happening where they're like, you know what would be really funny right now? You know what would really grind Husker fans' gears? Let's put both their teams against Texas A&M. What do you think? Do you think it was just a coincidence? What do you think, Anthony?
I think it was on purpose. I
It
think
has to be.
like there's no way that maybe one of the two games, like maybe of course they have Nebraska and Texas A&M. That was people were joking about it all week at that potential matchup, and that's what I was kind of thinking when the men's selection show happened and Nebraska got paired up with Texas A&M. I was actually in the car ride back from Indianapolis from the Big Ten tournament, watching it on my phone, and yeah, I was just like, wow, they really went there. And then the women's show, you see Nebraska pop up, and then Texas A&M pops up again, and you just kind of just gasp, like, really? It's honestly kind of overkill. I feel like having it twice, but it's a storyline. NCAA loves storylines, so
Marissa, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, exactly. It was 100% intentional. They definitely knew that it would bring attention, and like Anthony mentioned, the storylines, and yeah, it just, I mean, for them, obviously, it's a money and revenue generator, and they know that Nebraska fans travel, and especially with this little extra, I guess, I don't know, anger towards Trev Alberts, they know that there's gonna be Nebraska fans there in full force. So they definitely took advantage of that. But yeah, it's definitely kind of funny. And then the other thing is, like I've seen like on Twitter that um like a lot of the, what do you call it? Like flights from Omaha to Memphis like are already sold out, and like hotels are sold out, and so I know we can expect a lot of red there.
Yeah. In Memphis, honestly, I feel like Nebraska fans are going to travel pretty well there. Nebraska fans always travel well. And like you said, I think this is going to give a little bit more motivation for them to go. I just think it's hilarious in the fact that when I saw that we were going to play Texas A&M, I was like, I can't wait to scroll through Twitter. I can't wait to read the comments. And I want to say my favorite tweet was, I don't know if you guys ever watched it. Phineas and Ferb, the Doctor's Doofus merch, said, if I had a nickel for every time it was like such and such happened, I'd have 2 nickels. And while that's not a lot, it's weird that it happened twice. That was the meme kind of with it's if I had a nickel for every time Nebraska played Texas A&M after their AD left to go to the Aggies, I'd have 2 nickels. So that was my favorite tweet about it. But all the Husker fans are like, revenge. They all want revenge against Trev Alberts. Before we go into the matchup, I want to get you guys' thoughts on Trev Alberts leaving. How surprised were you by the move, by his move to leave? And how do you think this affects Nebraska? How much do you think this affects Nebraska athletics?
I was very surprised by it, especially just with everything that he had going. He had the contract extension, obviously the Memorial Stadium renovation that he was very passionate for it, and he was just, of course, Nebraska being his alma mater, it seemed like he was just going to be there for however long he wanted to, but longer, than where he was at. So that very surprised me. Still not really quite sure. I think definitely not money. I don't think that has to play with anything. Texas A&M is paying them pretty much the same thing Nebraska was doing. I don't think that was much of a driving force. I think maybe the people above him, Nebraska not having a official president right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might have to play with it. Just the fact that with the power at the top, that it really isn't quite there at that moment. So that could play a role in it. As for the future, I think right now, I mean, Matt Rule spoke today about it, and it seems like he has the perfect answer for every single question he's asked. Who knows if it's 100% true or not, but he said that he's all in. Fred Hoiberg talking about it yesterday and talking about it over the weekend, that he's all in on Nebraska athletics. So I think as for the coaches, at least right now, they're here to stay for as long as they can.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, yeah, I'm definitely shocked too, and I mean, I definitely, like, from my perspective, believe like what Hoiberg and Rule are saying, but like another thing that people are saying is that, well, Trev Alberts was saying the same thing, that he was all in on Nebraska, and he even said on his press conference today with the Aggies that he wasn't like even thinking about leaving at all, but then he like saw the opportunity. So yeah, it seemed like it was very sudden, and the way he departed was very interesting too. It's just with like the email to his staff, essentially, no video or in-person thing or anything like that. And seems like it's been kind of a pattern with him too in his past roles with like UNO. He kind of did the same thing with them, just kind of up and left. And after cutting the wrestling program and football and everything, so that part is really interesting. Just kind of where his loyalty lies, and I guess just his I guess the way that he approaches leaving his programs.
So, when I heard the news, I was immediately thinking, there's no way it's money. There's just no way. Because if people forgot, he just signed a contract extension. So he agreed to that amount of money he was going to get paid. And I don't even, have they even released the details of how much he's going to get paid yet? I haven't seen anything.
I remember just seeing a report from like, I think Pete Thamel the day of, and it was about the same thing, like saying one of the top 5 in the country or whatever, and like top of the SEC. But again, it was sounds exactly what Nebraska was doing.
Yeah. So I don't think it's money. There's something else going there, because Trev Alberts, from everything we've ever heard, has always been committed to Nebraska. And it's not like Nebraska athletics are doing bad. I mean, you could say relatively, Nebraska football is not as good as what it was, but it's certainly on the come up. Not just football, basketball, doing great. Wrestling's doing, you can go across the board. Husker sports are doing pretty good. There's got to be something else there. And as a student at Nebraska, I wanted to know. The few people that I know some people that student athletes that talk to Trev. They don't know him it's not like they talk to him every day or anything. But student athletes that have met with Trev, they said Trev talked to the student athletes all the time. And from everyone that has ever interacted with them, everyone says they love the guy. Everyone says he's a great guy. And I'm not going to say names, but everyone feels like there's something there that hasn't been said yet in the situation. And I wonder what it is, because everything right now, all the blame's going on Trev. There had to be something within Nebraska that made him leave. I don't think Trev would be like, oh, new job, I'm just going to up and leave. There had to be something that pushed him out the door. I don't think it was him wanting to leave. I think something pushed him out the door. I don't know if it was because there still isn't really a president. I don't know if it's the committee. I'm forgetting
Board of Regents.
Board of Regents. Thank you. I was blanking on if Board of Regents was pushing him out the door or something. I don't know. I just don't think it was something where Trev Alberts was 100% was like, man, I want to get out of here. It wasn't like that. He's always, up until the day he left, says that he always wanted to stay in Nebraska for the long haul. He signed an extension. Everything he did said he wanted to stay, and then he also leaves. There's something there. And everyone's making Trev the victim. And until more information comes out, I'm not going to make him the victim, because I feel like there's something that happened that made him leave. And I don't think it's entirely his fault. I blame Board of Regents. Still haven't gotten a president. Now you don't have an AD. You got a mess. Board of Regents need to get their crap together. And there's something else. I don't know what it is, but everyone that has talked to Trev before this happened said he's a nice guy and was committed to Nebraska. So I just can't see a reason why he would just leave if he was going to get a huge pay raise, that'd be one thing. I don't know. There's also the lawsuit, the alleged lawsuit that's going to be happening. That could also be it. I'm not going to go into details about that, because right now it's all allegations. But that also could be a thing that pushed him out the door. There's just so many unknowns. And I just wonder how much of it was Trev being forced out or him wanting to leave. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think the same thing. I think there's a lot that hasn't been explained yet that maybe down the line will eventually, come to light. So yeah, it's definitely something that the real saga here is just starting. It's not just over already. It's going to be going just down the road. More and more information is probably going to be coming out. So yeah, it's going to be just very interesting to see what really all happens out of this. And you mentioned a lot of points there. What points, become more prominent in just going forward?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's super weird. I hope we do find out more about it. I mean, just like the timing of it, like I said before, is really weird. Like right before, that both basketball programs are in the NCAA tournament, and he's always been a big proponent of those programs. And there wasn't like any build up to it. Like there wasn't any like speculation like the last couple weeks or even months.
That's
Like
the thing.
yeah, like Rule was even like caught off guard. Like he just got a call while he was golfing, and Trev said, "Hey, I'm leaving," and he was completely shocked. And same with the president. Like that day, people were asking him, like, "Did you know about this?" And he was like, "No, this is I'm finding out as you guys are." So just like the just that aspect of it is really interesting.
There's just no way that he's been planning this, for like months or anything. There's just no way. I feel like it was like a split second decision because if he was looking for another job, something somewhere would have alluded to it. There's just no way they would have kept it under media, under everything. There's too much of a light on Husker athletics right now. It's the only thing Nebraska's got is the UNL athletics, really. And like, it's just crazy to me that it was just like all of a sudden, boom, there it is. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting because there's something more to the story. And the only thing I don't like is how rash all Husker fans are being against Trev Alberts.
Yeah, he's definitely not very liked anymore in Nebraska. Sure.
Love him or hate him.
Yeah, the shirts.
Love him or hate him. He helped Nebraska get on a better path. And it's just, there's something more. But you can't deny the fact that Nebraska athletics are better when he left than when he got here. Wasn't he signed in 2019? 2018? Something like that? Wasn't that long ago. Do you remember 2019? I remember 2019. It wasn't good. Especially football, basketball. Was that the year Nebraska had like 20? I think that might have been the last time men's basketball had a winning record was that year. But still, it's just like Husker athletics are better now than when he got here. And I just don't like that he's being made out a villain because of something that there's just not that much information out about yet. I bet, unless it has to do with the lawsuit, I bet when more information comes out, Husker fans are going to be more apologetic. That's just what I feel. And until we get more information, that's all I really have to say about it. Because everyone that's ever interacted with Trev that I've talked to, they all love him. I have not heard anyone say one bad thing about Trev Alberts. I really haven't. That have actually personally talked to him and gotten to know him. Like there was a student athlete I talked to that said that he would come by like every week and talk to them. Like he was constantly like Trev Alberts was on the court when Nebraska stormed the court when they beat Purdue. He was on the court. Or was it the Wisconsin? One of them. He was on the court right there. Him and Matt Rule rushed the court together. Like, don't you think if he was like thinking, man, I want to get out of here, he wouldn't be rushing the court with all the Husker fans. He wouldn't be doing that. It's just so like, it's just a complete 180 turn. And honestly, it's fascinating. I hope more information comes out because I really want to know more because there's another piece of the puzzle. Do you guys have anything else to add about it? I think we nailed it pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I really like your point about not villainizing him right away, as a lot of people have done, and definitely focusing on what he has done for the program. Like one of the tweets like that I really liked on Twitter was from Will Compton. How I mean, he kind of defended Trev and got some hate for that, but he pointed out like all the stuff that he's done. Like he helped get a $165 million facility for football and landed a $300 million multimedia rights agreement and hired Matt Rule and the whole volleyball day and stuff. So there's like so many things that he has done for Nebraska that I think we definitely should appreciate. And he loves Nebraska, even if people don't believe it anymore.
He was here for the long haul, and it's just crazy that he left like in the way that he did. But with that, Nebraska going against Texas A&M, now where Trev Alberts is at. What is your guys' gut reaction to Nebraska? We're going to men's first. We'll go women's next segment. What's your gut reaction to Nebraska versus Texas A&M? How are you feeling about the matchup for Nebraska? How good are you feeling about Nebraska being able to win their first NCAA tournament game in the history of their program?
Yeah, I think I like the draw. I think, they're very conflicting styles of play. Texas A&M is a team that had a 5-game losing streak in February. Looked like they might have been out of the tournament. Ended their season winning 5 out of their last 6, with their only loss being in the SEC tournament semifinal to Florida. But it's very conflicting styles because Nebraska lives and dies by the three-pointer. They can get really hot from behind the arc. Texas A&M is the polar opposite of that. They are one of the worst shooting teams in the country. However, they are one of the best rebounding teams in the country, especially for offensive rebounds, which Nebraska overall has had a solid rebounding unit. But when you see them against teams like Illinois, who is at the top of the Big Ten in both offensive and defensive rebounds, they have struggled against them. So with that, just going into this game, I do feel like if Nebraska is hot from 3, they're not going to lose this game. I think they're going to game plan in the Texas A&M, and I think playing a team like Illinois this late or the game before them could maybe get them just a better feel of what Texas A&M is going to be like on the glass. And again, just if Nebraska is hitting their threes, the Aggies won't be able to keep up with their scoring.
Marissa, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think that they definitely have a good chance against Texas A&M, and I guess two other points is one. I think we saw with Illinois they did have some fatigue, which isn't an excuse, but I think they definitely will bring a lot more energy to this game. And then the other thing is, shoot, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, there it is. Obviously, like getting their first NCAA tournament win is definitely big and probably kind of an elephant on their shoulders. They really want to get that out of the way, and so I think once that they accomplish that, I think that they will be a little bit maybe more free and carefree in their play once they get out of the way. So hopefully they don't let the nerve and stress of the game and everything surrounding it. Hopefully that doesn't affect them too much.
I think there's no way Nebraska is going to allow themselves to lose this game. There's too much on the line. And I think the Texas A&M matchup is great because I think they know now they can't lose.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what Husker Twitter is going to be like, or Husker fans when if Nebraska loses to Texas A&M. It'll be so disappointing because while Nebraska is going to have a lot of talent returning, Casey Tominaga is going to be out the door, and he's kind of been he's probably the most talented player. I don't want to say he's the most consistent player because I feel like that's Juwan Gary, but I think like of top talent, I feel like Casey Tominaga is the most top talent on the team, can really be a go-to scorer on offense, and you're not going to have that next year. I don't know if Nebraska is going to be able to make this kind of a run again next year. I feel like this year is going to be about as good of a shot as they're going to get for maybe a couple years. I don't know. I don't feel like Nebraska's still going to be good next year. I don't think they're going to be as good as this year.
Yeah, I think the same. I think they're still returning a lot. Really, the only key pieces leaving are Casey and Josiah Alec. CJ Wilcher walked at senior night. We'll see what he does. But
if he comes back, I may be feeling a little bit better.
Yeah, I think there's still a lot of talent returning. I think that this could be a team that is definitely tournament caliber next year, but you never know how it's going to be with Nebraska and then just college basketball in general, injuries, stuff like that. So they're in the tournament now. They are an 8 seed playing a very winnable game against a team that they fare pretty well against.
Yeah.
And I liked what Marissa said earlier with it being in Memphis, how a lot of Husker fans are definitely going to be traveling.
Oh yeah.
Especially with just the chance to get the first ever tournament win. And then Nebraska, I saw this in the Big Ten tournament. They've really are already like capturing the hearts of some college basketball fans around the country with Casey Tominaga. The wild thing, courtside at the Big Ten tournament. I don't know if you guys saw that, but He was just a guy wearing an Ohio State jersey with his Michigan friend, and they were just going nuts after every single make by Tominaga. It was just absolute awesome to see. And then there's Husker fans petitioning on Twitter to get him down to this game. He's saying he wants to get down, so make it happen, guys.
Yeah. I think Nebraska, they're solid on both ends. They have enough threats on the 3-point line to win this game. I think in Nebraska, like I said, a lot of times this year, limits turnovers, and they don't even need to win the rebound battle. Just don't get crushed in the rebounding battle. I think Nebraska wins this game. Nebraska has momentum. Yes, they lost to Illinois in the Big Ten tournament, but Nebraska ended the regular season on a pretty good note. Did they win their last 4 games of the regular season? Something like that. 4 or 5. Then they beat Indiana. A decent not a terrible Indiana team. Won by very convincingly. So I think it's going to be a very good, as good of a chance as you could have possibly hoped for Nebraska to get their first tournament win. Anthony, I know you were down there for the Big Ten tournament. Can you kind of just talk before we go to break? Can you kind of just talk about what it was like being down there for the Big Ten tournament and what it was just like seeing Nebraska play over there?
Yeah, it was a very cool experience. I think I didn't know what to expect going into it. I've never been to the Big Ten tournament as a fan or anything like that. So it was just very cool. And one thing I really liked is that they opened up the locker rooms for 30 minutes after the game. So that, usually you just get a press conference where Hoiberg would go up there and, 2 or 3 selected players would talk, and you wouldn't be able to, talk to whoever you wanted, but there it was wide open. You could talk to anyone. I was able to get one-on-one interviews with Tominaga and Jamarcus Lawrence down there. So that was just a very, very cool experience and something that I really didn't expect going into it. And it was just very awesome just seeing all of the Big Ten games, seeing Zach Edey play again. Terrence Shannon dropped 40 points against Nebraska, Big Ten tournament record. I saw my fair share of history there. Nebraska advancing to the semifinals for the first time and then having the scoring record broken on them. But it was very cool and something that I hope to go back next year.
Yeah. And honestly, and Joseph is going down for the tournament, right?
Yep.
I'm super excited for him. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I hope we can call in on Wednesday's show from down there. It's going to be a once in a lifetime thing. Honestly, this is if Nebraska wins, it is going to be historic for the program. But with that, we got to throw it to break. We come back. We're going to go on to the women's side of things. Women's basketball team also made the tournament. Same opponent, Texas A&M. We'll get into that and more right here on the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Empower a child today with a Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Now, to tie it back to Nebraska men's basketball, this group has a chance to do something that hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
In making a run in the Big Ten tournament, a serious run, and winning the first NCAA tournament game, but they're not going to get there by doing the same things they've always done. It is on this team to step up and change that narrative. It won't change on its own. Teams won't lay over for you, and that's the mindset shift we haven't consistently seen yet.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you in the market for a new garage door or need to repair your old one? It's wintertime, and that means snow, wind, and freezing temperatures. All things that can cause sticky locks and damage to your garage door. If you're experiencing any issues with your commercial or residential garage door during the winter months, call Cameron Hall and his team at Doors Plus. Don't be trapped outside in the cold because of a poorly maintained garage door. Call Doors Plus today at 402-590-5800 or visit them online at doorsplus.llc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more. Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
Are you searching for a helping hand in life? Look no further. Integrated Behavioral Health Services is your answer. They're your compassionate, trusted partners committed to guiding you from challenges to triumphs. Their licensed professionals offer personalized therapy for individuals, couples, and families. At IBHS, the focus is you. Experience a life-changing transformation in an environment tailored to your unique needs. Visit ibhealthservices.com today and take that first step towards a brighter future. Discover the power of healing with integrated behavioral health services. You're not alone. Let them walk this journey with you.
Mosaic is a nonprofit, whole-person healthcare organization that embraces God's call and relentlessly pursues opportunities that empower people with diverse needs to live their best lives. Mosaic in Southeast Nebraska, serving Lincoln and Beatrice, would like to invite you to their monthly Discover the Possibilities tour events. Events are held on the third Wednesday of every month and are a great way to understand Mosaic's mission. To RSVP, please contact Melindy at 402-429-0088 or visit mosaicinfo.org/Southeast Nebraska.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Hey guys, it's Bill Bush. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty has opened a new location in Pender, Nebraska, in addition to their office in Lincoln. The real estate world can be confusing, so why wouldn't you want an expert helping you every step of the way? If you're looking to buy or sell farmland in Nebraska, Kansas, or Iowa, give Ethan Sorensen a call today at 402-380-0432 or visit them online at nextagrealestate.com. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty with locations in Lincoln and now Pender, Nebraska.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in the winter, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep your clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex at West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake. Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome back into the Daily Nebraskan show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Ben, Anthony, Marissa, still here with you on this beautiful Monday night. A little chilly. Not too bad, though. I think it's pretty nice for, spring's almost here. I feel like spring should already be here, but, you don't get everything you want. Hopefully it warms up soon. But let's now go on to the women's side of things for Husker basketball. Women's team made a huge run in the Big Ten tournament. Weren't able to win it all in the Big Ten tournament, but still got to the championship game. Honestly, exceeded expectations in the tournament. I didn't have very high expectations for the team going into the tournament. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I didn't. They completely blew away my expectations. I'm super proud of the team. I thought they did great. They showed a lot of heart, and I'm super excited to watch them in March Madness. What are you guys? Can you guys kind of? What are your thoughts on the Big Ten tournament, their run, and their we're just first going to the Big Ten tournament. What are your thoughts on their run in the Big Ten tournament? Because when we first last had a show, they hadn't even played a game in the Big Ten tournament, so we haven't really been able to talk about any of it. What's your just initial thoughts about how they performed in the Big Ten tournament?
Yeah, it was just a great performance from them. Starting out as a 5 seed, only getting a single bye, not even a double bye, but they were still able to make it all the way to the championship game. Just played a bunch of battles back to back to back to back, and still just had great showings. And then the Iowa game, obviously not the result they wanted at the end, but they still competed for the whole 40 minutes plus overtime. And it was just very awesome to see. I got to cover the Maryland game. None of the women's basketball writers were available to cover it, so I stepped in, and it was an amazing game, especially from Jazz Shelley, who had a season high 30 points. What she was doing at the end of the first half and end of the first quarter was just insane, and it really it gets me really excited going into March Madness for the women's side. Didn't make it last year, went on an NIT run, but not the same as being in March, and it's just. I'm really looking forward to watch the team on Friday.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of, like Anthony said, it was just fun to watch them. And all the games in the tournament. He kind of touched on this, but like you could tell that they had that like competitiveness and fire like from the start to the end. They never like really lost that like energy or anything. They just kept going, and even though Iowa was a heartbreaker, they did push Iowa to overtime, which I think is like an accomplishment, even though they may have had some chances to close it out. But just to push them to overtime and keep it competitive, I think was really cool to see. And it's really cool knowing that that wasn't their last game. I think most people knew that they were gonna keep going to the NCAA tournament. So I think that their performance and their performance in the tournament should just give them more motivation going forward.
I wonder if Nebraska would have had that good of a run, that big of a run, if they would have had the double bye, if they would have gotten that top 4 seed. Because Nebraska, let's go back. Nebraska lost to Illinois last game of the season, didn't get the double bye, so they had to play an extra game. How much do you think that affected Nebraska? Because sometimes I feel like, especially in basketball, it's always intriguing to me, like for the men's side thing, when they play, when you have the play-in game, you have the 10 and the 11 going, oh my gosh, like 2 teams play for like the 10 seed or the 11 seed. Yes. First 4, that was what I was looking for. I feel like those teams sometimes make a little bit of a run because, they played a game already. They're already kind of warm. Sometimes you get like a week off and it's kind of like, oh, wait, I haven't played in a little bit. Sometimes teams kind of stumble into the tournament. But when you play that first 4 game, like you win, you're kind of hot, already taking momentum into the first round of the tournament. I wonder if them playing that extra game helped them kind of get momentum and carry it throughout the Big Ten tournament. What do you think about that, Anthony?
Yeah, I think it did. I think especially looking at just the 4-5 matchup against Michigan State, where Nebraska won by 12, but really looking at it, I mean, the first quarter, it was very close. It was 22-21. But then second and third quarter, Nebraska really dominated it. And they looked like a team that, they played yesterday. They looked like a team that the fatigue didn't get to them, but they looked like, they've been playing basketball recently, that they, weren't cold. They were getting hot. Michigan State looked cold, looked like, that plays the risk of having a double bye. There's these teams that played a day, maybe even 2 days in a row before them, where they got a chance to heat up and get a good feel for the game, whereas Michigan State hadn't played since Sunday or Saturday, whenever their last game was. So yeah, I think for sure that kind of gave them just a better feel for it, as as well as just, maybe some extra motivation going forward,
Mhm.
just as a team that, they let the double bye slip away from them, but that they don't want to sink. They wanted to keep swimming, and they just continued to just fight towards no matter what seed they were, no matter what team they were playing.
Um, I feel like the run was very. I agree that I think playing the extra game helped. That's why, like, them not getting the double bye, I was like, yeah, that sucks, but it's like, take it as opportunity. And that's what they did. They did a great job of that. This run was just so important because, this is Josh Shelley's last year. Amy Williams hasn't had a tournament win so far. Still, we're just now getting the NCAA tournament, but Nebraska bringing a lot of momentum into the NCAA tournament. Do you guys feel Nebraska will get that first win under Amy Williams when they play in the first round against Texas A&M this year? What's just your gut pick? Do you think Nebraska's going to win first round?
I do. I think that I'm very grateful that Nebraska got a 6 seed. I know leading up to it, the ESPN women's bracketology, even after Nebraska's Big Ten run pushed Iowa to its limit in the championship, they still had them in the 8 and 9 seed line.
Yeah, that didn't make sense.
And Jessica Keller, one of the assistant coaches, put out a thread on Twitter, just showing just kind of calling out just the bracketologists that were making that, showing, why Nebraska deserved a higher seed, and very thankful that the committee pushed them up out of that 8-9 line and into a 6 seed. So yeah, I think that they do get it done against Texas A&M. Again, Texas A&M was one of the bubble teams for the women's tournament. They were just surprised or happy to even make it in there, whereas this Nebraska team is playing its best basketball all season, and it's very, very determined going forward.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, with I guess the little information I know about the A&M team, I think that Nebraska definitely has an edge, and they are playing for a little bit more. Just getting over the hump of getting the NCAA tournament win and going a little bit further than they have in the past. And yeah, I guess that's just the biggest thing. We definitely don't want to make it about the whole AD situation, but that is probably in the back of their minds too.
Yeah, kind of going back to when during the men's press conference, I know because I was watching that, when they asked Mass and Alec about Trev Alberts and AD, they said, we're not playing the AD, we're playing Texas A&M. And I really like that response because they need to focus on the game. They honestly, I'm glad they're not. I hope they're not allowing that to really affect them, coming into this matchup. And when that quote of them saying we're not playing the AD, we're playing Texas A&M, some of the Nebraska Twitter are like, yeah, you guys play A&M, leave the AD to us. And I just thought that was so funny. But yeah, I just think it's so. Again, I know we touched on it, but the fact that both teams are playing Texas A&M is just crazy to me. And I think both teams have a good shot of winning against Texas A&M. I mean, honestly, how much of a gut punch do you feel like that'd be to Trev Alberts if, the school he left beat both basketball teams in the tournament, beat his Aggies? I think that'd be kind of funny. Not going to lie.
Yeah, that's just the storyline they do. It's kind of just a high risk, high reward for both schools. I mean, if Nebraska loses those games, then it'd be like, haha, like kicking someone while they're down, losing to a school where your AD just left for. However, if it's the other way, it would just be the perfect revenge, just right away, right after. You don't have to wait till they play in a non-conference basketball game or football game, something like that. It's just boom, a week later, playing against your former AD.
It's honestly crazy just how soon the matchup is. I feel like there's no way both Husker teams lose to Texas A&M. I feel like at least one of them is going to get a win. So I think Nebraska is going to be able to get some kind of a laugh, whether it's men or women's. I feel like the chance of them both losing first round is pretty low. Both Husker teams are very solid, and I think both have very good chances to go into second round. But with that, we got to throw it to break one last time. When we come back, we're going to switch it to baseball and softball, just kind of recapping how their season's been going so far, because we haven't been here in a week. Lots happened. All that and more is coming right here on the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey guys, it's Bill Bush. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty has opened a new location in Pender, Nebraska, in addition to their office in Lincoln. The real estate world can be confusing, so why wouldn't you want an expert helping you every step of the way? If you're looking to buy or sell farmland in Nebraska, Kansas, or Iowa, give Ethan Sorensen a call today at 402-380-0432 or visit them online at nextagrealestate.com. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty with locations in Lincoln and now Pender, Nebraska.
Here you go. Coffee's on me and my new BFF. I thought I was your best friend forever. BFF like best financial friend at Members Own Credit Union. Right now, they're offering $100 when you consolidate or transfer a loan or an existing credit card balance and meet requirements. Plus, you get great rates and free advice from a financial partner that will put you first.
That sounds like a match made in heaven.
Members Own Credit Union is the type of bestie you can count on. Get started today at memberzonecu.org/BFF. Limitations may apply. Equal housing opportunity.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Hello.
Hello.
Believe it or not, old phones are one of the most common pain points in offices today. Many of these phones are beyond repair because parts aren't available to fix outdated devices. Whether it's a traditional phone system or cloud-based VoIP technology, Hamilton Business Phones can help upgrade your connection. We make it easy to sync your office phone with your cell for seamless call handling, no matter where you work. If your current office phone can't do this, you deserve better. Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
Are you searching for a helping hand in life? Look no further. Integrated Behavioral Health Services is your answer. They're your compassionate, trusted partners committed to guiding you from challenges to triumphs. Their licensed professionals offer personalized therapy for individuals, couples, and families. At IBHS, the focus is you. Experience a life-changing transformation in an environment tailored to your unique needs. Visit ibhealthservices.com today and take that first step towards a brighter future. Discover the power of healing with Integrated Behavioral Health Services. You're not alone. Let them walk this journey with you.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Unearth the secret to long-lasting tires at Tread's Central Tire Pros, a league apart in commitment, service, and expertise. This isn't just about rubber meeting the road, but trust, safety, and surety converging in perfect harmony. This is where expectations are exceeded every time. Make your appointment today at Tread's Central Tire Pros, just south of Cortland on Highway 77, or visit our website to explore our services. Remember, when it comes to tires, choose Tread's Central Tire Pros because we tread differently.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
I said shout out to Dennis LeBlanc. I mean, if somebody's going to replace Trev that knows Nebraska, that knows the players, that knows everything going on, it's Dennis LeBlanc. Dennis LeBlanc is exactly what we need. Golly, Trev put us in a bad spot. Horrible spot. Dennis is someone who where the fall won't be as hard with Dennis there. Trust me.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome back into the Daily Nebraskan show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. One last segment here before we're out of here for the night. We're going to finish the show recapping Husker baseball and softball. We'll first go into baseball. Baseball swept their opponent this last weekend. Nicole's won all 3 games. First game 7-6. The game on Saturday won 16-0. What a game. And then finished the weekend winning 11-4. And before that, there was a lot. They split the series against Wichita State and then won 2 of 3 against South Alabama. And then we were here for the College of Charleston. So honestly, Nebraska keeps their solid season going. They're now 13-5 on the season on a 3-game winning streak. Husker baseball, honestly, almost as good of a start as you could have asked for, to be honest.
Yeah, right now they're ranked 3rd in RPI in the country. Still up there with just the highest SEC schools, stuff like that. However, tomorrow they play Omaha, and then Wednesday they play North Dakota State. If they lose those games, those would be detrimental for their RPI. These are 2 teams. Omaha is 3-15. North Dakota State is 5-14. If it sounds crazy, still it's before conference play even starts, but it's all that. This was what happened to them last year. They fell flat in those midweek matchups against very beatable schools, and that's why they were put in a situation where they had to win the Big Ten tournament to make a regional. So if they want to just get one of those at-large bids in a regional come May, come June, they're going to have to not fall flat in those matchups and then just take care of business.
And what's crazy is Big Ten play is almost here.
Yep.
It's right around the corner. For softball, at least, March 22nd. They only have one more game before they play Illinois. And then for for baseball, it's not that far away either. They play their first Big Ten conference game will be March 29th. So just a couple days later against Northwestern, but still, it's right around the corner. It's as soon as March Madness is done, or it's going to be just wrapping up, it's boom. Baseball and softball season going to be really into full effect. I'm not even ready to give a basketball yet, and baseball and softball are already starting up. Honestly, crazy that these teams have already played this many games. But onto the softball side of things, softball did pretty good on Thursday, beat Northern Colorado 6-5. They won all 4 games this weekend. Again, beat Northern Colorado 6-5, beat North Dakota 11-10. Kept Creighton scoreless, shut them out 9-0. Always nice for Husker fans when they beat Creighton. And then on Sunday, beat Northern Colorado once again 12-4. So softball kind of got the wheels back on the track. They've been kind of up and down so far to start the season. Kind of expected, with the loss of Jordy Ball. But they sit 16-12. Not great, but they're on a 5-game winning streak. So at least they're carrying some momentum as they only have one more game before they start conference play. They're honestly going into conference play with a pretty decent amount of momentum.
Yeah, Billy Andrews was once again named Big Ten Player of the Week today as well. So he just had a great weekend. And yeah, again, this is just a team that obviously has had their hiccups early on in the year. They faced a ton of adversity already, but this past weekend they showed that, they're at the root of all things. They're still a very good softball team. They're not just one player in Jordy Ball. There's they're a giant group of players that will still compete at the top of the Big Ten this season. So yeah, it brings a lot of hope going forward.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not ready to give a basketball yet because March Madness hasn't even started. But right when March Madness is over, we're going to be straight into baseball and softball season. It's going to be a lot of fun to cover right here on the Daily Nebraskan Show. But with that, we got to wrap the show up. Thank you guys for listening into the Daily Nebraskan Show right here on 90.3. 93.7 The Ticket. There you go. I was going to KRNU. 93.7 The Ticket. Lincoln, Nebraska. We'll be right back here tomorrow, 11 to 12. Me and Joseph will get you going. We'll probably go more into other matchups for NCAA tournament. We're going to give some of our tournament picks because I'm super excited to, kind of dive in. I'm going to be honest. Right when brackets came out, I kind of filled out my bracket right away. I've been adjusting and tweaking throughout the day, but I kind of filled it out as soon as possible. But with that, thank you for listening to the DN Show. We'll be right back here tomorrow, 11 to 12. See ya.
Looking for a job that feels like family? Join Lincoln Industries, where tradition meets innovation.